I've been making beats for over 4 years now, and in this time, I've picked up some bad habits that have made my workflow slower. So I decided to track down some of the most useful FL Studio tips that I could find. These will speed up your beat making and give you a productive workflow. Each setting I show you is going to be more useful than the last, so pay close attention. Lock in with me. Let's get it. Tell me, what looks faster to you? Or this? Now, I didn't know this until recently when I saw someone else do it, but if you right click on a mixer track and you go to file, anything that's under these states, you can open by pressing the first letter. So if I want to open up my master chain, I can just hit D. Since there's already a default, I can just hit it twice. To set that up, what we can do is go to a fresh mixer track, then just open up the VST that we want to save, so parametric EQ2, and then we'll save it into our FL Studio mixer presets folder. If you're having trouble finding where the folder is, just right click on an empty mixer track, go to file, click on browse states. That'll automatically open up this little mixer presets tab. Then we can right click on any of these and click on open parent folder. And now what we can do is go to that track where we made our EQ, copy the location of these mixer presets, right click the track, file, save mixer track state as, then we can just save our preset in here. If you want to speed it up even more though, we can add the letter that we want before each VST. So if I just want to hit A to open up the parametric EQ, I could just put an A before it. Since default and drill master are both the same letter, I could put B before the drill master. So now all I gotta do, right click, go to file, A, and it's already on here. One thing to note though, it's more useful if you're just starting off a beat, because if you've already got stuff on your track, then you right click, file, A, it's gonna revert back to that initial state with just the EQ on it. So one thing you could do is make like a little chain of your favorite presets and save that as a mixer state.
So we didn't learn. We didn't learn from last time. We didn't. So we didn't learn!
FL Studio makes autosaves every 10 minutes by default. You can go to options, general settings, and go to file. As you can see, it's set to every 10 minutes by default. What I'd recommend is setting it to regularly, every 5 minutes. If you want to find all your backups, all you got to do is hit this little folder here, go into FL Studio, projects, then backup. Or if you want to be even quicker, you can go to this little search bar here and type in backup. Then if we hit on this, all of our backups are here that we can just load. Alright, let's say you open up a beat you made in the past, but the drum kit or sample pack you used has switched location. You could waste minutes of your life locating each sound from the kit individually, or you could just do this. Head to options, file settings, go under file, then we can just copy the path from our kit directly into here. Save the file, reopen it, all the sounds are going to be back. Now VSTs like Contact or Omnisphere can be really heavy and slow your FL down, and odds are that's because the VST isn't using all of your CPU. If we select our VST, hit on this cog here and go to the second menu with the cog, go to processing, make sure allow threaded processing is turned on. This lets the VST use all of the cores inside your CPU, so that should speed it up quite a bit. Now one thing I like to do with my beats is layer sounds. For example, this kick. If I want to layer some percussion over that, like, I could go into this pattern, copy, paste, and do it this way. Or I could use a layer. To open up a layer, just press this plus, hit L. Now what we can do is select the two sounds that we want to layer. So this one, hold control, this one, and click set children. If you want to double check that works, hit show children, and I'll show it here. Now any note we lay down here, we'll layer these two sounds. But we can also go into the individual sounds and lay down notes too. If you want to remove those children, we can just go to this drop down menu and hit delete children. This is pretty useful for like layering 808s and all kinds of sounds. And if you want to change the pattern you make, you can just do it in one piano roll instead of having to keep copying between the two if you change anything later down the line. Now if we grab this kick, we go into this little tab here. This pogo setting isn't really talked about enough. This applies a pitch bend to your sound. Turn the knob left. You'll pitch down the attack at the start of the sample. Turn the knob right. You'll extend the delay at the end of the sample, but you can also use this on other sounds as well. Very good for sound design. You can completely manipulate the effect the sound has. If we go to options, audio settings, under the CPU menu, enable smart disable. This will disable all of the VSTs that we're not using, saving some process power for your computer. Alright, now let's say you want to quickly max out a setting or reset it to default. For example, if you've got an 808 and you want to quickly do the envelope, just hold Alt and then mouse wheel it up. And then you can mouse wheel down for all these. Or if you want to reset a setting, hold Alt, just click. That'll reset everything back to default. And this will work in any knob inside of FL Studio. And it'll work for most VSTs too. Let's say you accidentally replace a sound. Or you swapped it out a while back and want one of the sounds that you used previously. Instead of having to look around for that sound again, you can just open up the sample, right click on this folder, and now you'll have a full history of all the sounds you've used, so you can go back to that clap that we had before. So you want to stretch the piano roll view like how you can stretch the playlist, but when you try doing Alt mouse wheel, it just affects the velocities. All you have to do is hover your mouse over the piano notes themselves, hold middle click, and then drag. Now in our piano roll, if we go down to this control drop down and go to channel volume, this will work really well for getting more natural sound and volume. This is what our vocals are sounding like. But if we want to, we can kind of draw it out so it's a bit more natural. So the volume goes up here, peaks down a bit, and at the end here goes up, peaks back down. This is really useful for stringed instruments too, violins, stuff like that. Alright, so you might have to change the BPM of the beat while you're working on it. If I adjust the BPM, some of these sounds are going to be off beat now. Now we can open up each sound, switch it from resample to stretch, but that's just long. So let's go to tools, macros, switch all audio clips to real-time stretching. Press OK. Now if we adjust the BPM, everything switches with it and our beat is all on time. Let's say you got some phrases together. We can just select the two layers that we want to merge and hit Ctrl G, and that'll consolidate them out into their own sample. So you finish your track and you've got a bunch of unused tracks here that you don't need anymore. You can head to tools, macros, purge unused audio clips, and this will get rid of them. Anyway, I hope you guys found these tips useful. If you want to learn about a secret free VST that's made my mixes insane, you should probably check out this video next.